The first budget hearing of El Portal for 2022-2023 fiscal year is called to order on Tuesday, September 13th at 7:11 p.m. We're going to have the moment of silent meditation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call, please?
Roll call, Mayor Nickerson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Burbam.
Present.
Councilperson Perella. Here. Councilperson Lightfoot Ward. Councilperson Martin.
Present.
Also present for the record, Janice Jacoby, Village Clerk, Christy Alou, Village Manager, and CFO Tom O'Fell.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. I appreciate it. Next is approval of the agenda. We only have one agenda item, you guys. We've had the workshop already, but this is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda, which is the two resolutions? It's moved by Councilperson Lightfoot Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Martin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, moving on. Good and welfare. This is the time right now if anybody wants to come up and talk about the agenda itself. Just come up and say your name and address for the record, and the floor is yours.
Hi, good evening to everyone. I am Fabio Santoriello, and I came because there is the public hearing for the tax property. The vote, okay.
Yeah, you're saying you came because of the tax property doubled?
Yes.
Because the housing properties went up?
Sorry?
Because the housing properties went up?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is there, do you have a question? Or you want to
Yeah,
acknowledge that?
I want to know if they approved the budget, they didn't approve the budget, how's going on, if we can vote, how's it work?
You want to vote about the taxes?
Yes.
Okay, you want to talk about the taxes and the
No,
rate of the taxes?
I would like to know if it's approved or no. I want to know about the taxes, yes, tax property.
I can take a stab at it if. Mute your mic because I think we're interfering. Okay, so you just bought a house, is my guess, recently.
No, I built a house here.
How long? How many years have you been in the house?
2 years?
2 years.
Yes.
Okay, and so when you say doubled, do you mean literally doubled, like 100% more? You know, so you're talking about your property tax statement. Is that specifically?
I must tell you, I have a little bit of problem with this property tax because my neighbor, they just have a new house like me, more or less, and they pay half what I'm paying right now. So I went through also to my update property appraiser to talk about that, but they didn't tell me nothing, they didn't send me nothing, and now there is this new bill now, and I have some documents here, if I can show to someone, you know.
Is your property homestead, are you clearing?
Yes.
Okay, so there should be a limit on how much increase can happen from 1 year to the next on the property tax. It gets a little tricky comparing one house to another house because, for example, let's say you lived in your house for 10 years and then you sell it. The people who bought the house are looking at what you paid on your taxes, right? But then their taxes are going to kick in at what they paid for the house. And then each year after that, it will only go up a certain percentage. But when a property changes hands, changes ownership, that's when the new owner can sometimes be surprised to see, wait a minute, I was shown that the previous owner was only paying X amount of dollars for their taxes, and now here I am paying more. But when that ownership changes hands, so if you've been in the house 2 years,
That
now,
is totally correct, but
yeah.
it's not my case.
Okay.
Because my case was an empty plot of land. I built a new house from scratch.
uh-huh.
And also, my neighbor, he made it the same. The builder, he built an house from scratch. There was nothing on top.
Okay.
So I'm really astonished that I'm paying just the double of my neighbor. This is it. And the plot of land is the same.
So-
square footage is the same.
So here in the village, we set the percentage, the millage rate. So 8.3 is what it sits at currently.
Yes.
So the village, we set that rate, right? For me, I'm sure there's a couple other people who want to talk, but it sounds to me like this might be an issue with the county appraiser, and that you would want to appeal their finding of what they appraised your house for, because it was not the village who did that
Ah, okay,
appraisal.
okay, I understand.
All we did was we set the rate at 8.3,
Okay.
which it has been. So that's my understanding, and I'm certainly let others speak to it, so.
Vice Mayor Urban, you're 100% correct. That's what I was going to say, and you.
I get a lot of complaints about it too. On my street, you sit down, like, it's a valid point. It's a valid point. Very valid. Ain't wrong.
Yes.
Oh, let me get a little bit closer. A lot of concern about it, so you're not the only one. I'm even concerned, I'm retired. You're not the only one. We are the highest in the Dade County of the cities. 8.3, we're the smallest city. One of the things I would want us to look at is how do we lower it? Because we standing up with the hoorah, but we're not. 8.3 is high. That's been like that since I can remember, and it's never been reduced. Now that I'm retired, I'm looking at money differently. So I feel you. That's all I'm saying, I feel you.
I am father of two small kids, they are
Yes.
4.5 and 3.5, so
Okay,
it's just
so
a little
it's
bit
high.
complicated for me.
When you do the math from last year, you will see the difference from what was last year's. And I was gonna bring that issue forward as we are doing this, because we do just simply go 8.3. We never thought about lowering it ever. And to me, there's something wrong with that. It's been 8.3 and I've been here 30 years. 30 years. It's been high.
Mhm.
So thank you. I'm not criticizing you. I'm acknowledging what has been
Thank you.
coming to me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Let me just say for the record, you guys, that when I first came on to the council, it was 8.9, then it went to 8.7, then it went to 8.5, and now it's 8.3. Okay? That's the first thing. Second of all, what he's talking about is not related to the millage rate. What he specifically said was, if everybody was listening, what he specifically said was that his neighbor has an exact same type of house that he has, but his is higher. So the problem is that if his neighbor and him have the same exact house, but his is higher, that has nothing to do with the 8.3. What that is the county property appraiser has his house appraised at the wrong rate. Or maybe his neighbor's house is appraised at the wrong rate. That's the issue. So he needs to contact the county property appraiser.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very,
Thank
very
you.
much. I appreciate
Can
it.
you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, Fabio Santoriello, 8671 Northeast Miami Court.
And Biscayne Park currently has a higher tax rate than ours. They're the highest in Miami-Dade County. And the reason why that is because Biscayne Park has no commercial. And we spoke about it before, You see, Ian Pedro, the building, he's even shaking his head, yes. Biscayne Park has no commercial, and we spoke about it before, and as we get more, this is why I'm trying to do as much development as possible. As we get more and more commercial, then we can look at lowering the tax rate, because then we don't have to give up services, because we'll be getting the same amount of money in. But like I said, when I first started, it was 8.9, because we had no commercial. But now we have the skate park, we have Cavista going up, we have the restaurant that's going to be down there where the church is. We have all this development coming in now that we work so hard to get, myself and Manager Lou, and so therefore that's going to offset the tax rate. So when we're talking about when is it going to be lower, once all these commercial properties get up and running, then we can look at lowering it, because we don't have to give up exact absolute finances. That's why I'm trying to focus on all this development, you guys. All right?
Mayor, I hate to be the one that always challenges whatever you say. You gotta do it on the level that the people are talking about. The people are talking about, do something about it, that's all. And they're not trying to say we're doing anything wrong, it's just that we never have an explanation for it. Not even me. All I know is, yes, it was 8.9, yes, it was all of that, but it's been 8.3 for the longest. And it's high for us. You go into Miami-Dade County and you see what everybody else has, and they have commercial too, then you'll see that we are extremely high to be so small. Just because we're getting new businesses in, that doesn't give it an excusable exception. That does not do that. We just gotta look at it ourselves and say, listen, per property, we may not be able to. But look at it again, it's 8.3. It's high. That's all the gentleman is saying, that's all I'm saying, it's high. And commercial or no commercial or whatever, it was high before it was commercial, before we had all these commercials. So let's give the gentleman a little credit for understanding that it's high, it is high. And I think at some point in time, we need to look at how we, not just the property appraiser, no, I made that phone call, how we manage our property in terms of how we see it presented to the residents and to us. It's high.
Yeah, well, like the mayor just said, hopefully, once we get all these commercial developed, we might be able to, and we will, because that's one of the goals, to lower the property taxes, the millage rate. Because right now is the only revenue we have. As low as we go with a barely make it to $3 million in just property taxes is all our revenue. Remember, you also have to understand, not everything we paid in property taxes goes to El Portal. El Portal only has an operation tax, which is like less than 10%. So, in other words, if you pay $6,000 in property taxes, only about $1,500 or $1,800 comes to El Portal. So it's not, right now it's tough. It's a tough one. But as property values are been going up in, selling houses, the prices they're selling, of course, like Vice Mayor Irvin said, you just grandfather the taxes for the period of time until you actually, your new purchase or your new ownership kicks in, and then you pay new taxes for the new price. But half of the village still under, the lowest assessed value in the county.
I don't care about it.
So there's a few houses that don't pay a penny to El Portal and property taxes. So it's one thing balance the other. So for now, this is what we have.
Mr. Mayor, you
Unfortunately.
could need this on the agenda at some point so that we all can look at it objectively and not specifically to the rising cost, but how do we lower it beyond that? And let's don't blame it on commercial
for sure.
property. This is our only income. This is it. But we do a lot of grants, and so when people hear you on the platform indicating, people, we didn't use any of whatever, we used grant money, and yet they see still a 8.3. Let me tell you, that's artificial. I've lived long enough to know artificial prices, and when they drop, which they have done over the 30 years that I've been here, I've seen them rise and I've seen them fall. And once they drop, we still end up being among the highest that have the highest. That is the issue. We are one of the smallest villages, and yet we have one of the highest millage rates. Did my homework. And other than that, yes, we have to pay it. We have to pay it, folks, but I'm going on the record for those that came to me. Yeah, I suffer too, but all things considered, we will look at it.
Biscayne Park is one of the smallest also, and they have the highest millage rate in Miami-Dade County. If we're one of the smallest and have one of the highest also, as I stated before, it's because ourselves and Biscayne Park, who is still the highest, had no commercial. We are just starting to get commercial. If you look at the areas and municipalities that have commercial that have been up and running, theirs is much lower. So once you give us time, and once our commercial gets up and running, we can lower it. But all our commercial is coming in, it just started coming in since I became mayor. It hasn't been up and running for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. So we haven't been able to benefit from those commercial developments as of yet. Only one of the ones that have been that's being worked on has opened is a skate park. Cavista, you can look outside right now. You see the big cranes. The Cavista development is going up right now. Myself and Madam Manager, we just had the meeting for a brand new riverfront restaurant and development. We just had, nobody even knows about this, Madam Manager. We just had that meeting. We just got the renders for it. We just saw how it was going to look. It's going to be beautiful. And while Cavista is being built, that's going to be built because they don't want to tear up the streets twice. So, once all these commercial properties go up, things are going to change. Any more questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Moving right along, moving to the agenda items. You guys, these are more or less a formality. We've gone through the workshop. Attorney Geller, do you have these resolutions in front of you? We're going to do yeah.
Ready to read it by title, Mayor.
I appreciate it. Resolution number 2022.
F1.
F1 adoption of the ad valorem tax rate.
Yes, Mayor. A resolution of the Mayor and Village Council of the Village of El Portal, Florida, of Miami-Dade County, Florida, adopting the final levying of ad valorem taxes of 8.30 mils, which is more than the rolled back rate of 7.1814 mils by 15.58% for the Village of El Portal, Miami-Dade County for fiscal year 2022-23, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Before I ask for a motion to approve, anybody?
First reading.
First reading. Before I ask for a motion to approve, anybody from the audience or anybody from the council have any questions, comments about this particular resolution? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Mayor Urban. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Martin. Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilperson Martin.
Yes.
Councilperson Lightfoot Ward. Councilperson Perella.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Urban.
Yes.
Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. Moving on to F2, this is the resolution for adoption of the budget for fiscal year 2022-2023. Mr. Attorney, can you please read that into the record for us?
Yes, Mayor. F2, a resolution of the Mayor and Village Council of the Village of El Portal, Florida, of Miami-Dade County, Florida, adopting and approving the annual operating budget of $3,329,399 for fiscal year 2022-23, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. Before I ask for a motion for this, anybody from the audience, anybody from the council have any questions or comments about this particular resolution? All right, hearing none, may I please have a motion to approve the resolution?
So move.
Moved by Councilperson Perella. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Vice Mayor Urban. Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilperson Martin.
Yes.
Councilperson Lightfoot Ward. Councilperson Perella.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Urban.
Yes.
Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Moving on to good and welfare. This right here is, we do have a planning and zoning meeting next, you guys, for everybody who's here for planning and zoning with the wonderful Chairperson Martin. But this right here, this good and welfare is for anybody who wants to come up and talk about anything at all. You can come and give your name and address for the record and talk about anything at all. If not, then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn and we'll move on to the next meeting. Anybody for good and welfare? Hearing, seeing none. Do I have a motion to adjourn the first budget hearing?
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Martin. Do I have a?
Mayor, before you adjourn, you just announced for the record when the second one will be.
Yes, no problem. The second budget hearing is Tuesday, September 27th. It is at 6:45 p.m. For the second budget hearing, you guys remember we have to be here at 6:30 because 6:30 we have the special assessment. Okay, this is Tuesday, September 27th, 6:30 special assessment. And right after that, 6:45 is the second budget hearing, second and final budget hearing. And then right after that, we go 7 o'clock to the full council meeting. Okay, so the second budget hearing, special assessment 6:30, second budget hearing 6:45, Tuesday, September 27th, here in Village Hall. All in favor of adjourning the first budget hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Hearing none. The Village of El Portal first budget hearing for fiscal year 2022-2023 is adjourned at 7:32 p.m.